All right, I want to make you this short bonus video because of something that just happened. A few days ago, we get a call from one of the hotels here in Las Vegas where we have put a vendor in. The vendor's a really nice guy, does a really good job. He went on a vacation. Not for long, just a few days. He made sure the hotel was stocked before he left, and he and his family went snowboarding in Utah. Well, we get a call, and the maintenance man, or I guess you might want to say not maintenance, more like the engineer at the hotel. He called and told us the contract was going to be broken. He was canceling the contract, and that he wanted the vending machines out of there. So Rick went over to talk to him. And the conversation pretty much was a negative conversation. He just kept saying he wanted them out, The guy wasn't doing a good job. And he said, I tried to call the guy on the phone. He's out of town. He answered the phone, said he wouldn't be back for a couple of days. That's not the kind of service we want. So, your normal reaction would be, you tell the hotel engineer that he can't break a contract, that the general manager signed it. So Rick was real polite to the guy. He then heads upstairs to see the new general manager, which had only been there a few months. That's the guy that signed the contract. The general manager, apparently, and the hotel engineer were at odds. They didn't like each other. The engineer felt like the hotel manager had taken his power away by signing that contract, because I guess the contract before that was signed by the hotel engineer. Now, we've never seen a hotel engineer sign a contract. I will give you a tip, though. In most car dealerships, the service manager, not the general manager, not the owner, but the service manager signs the contracts. So the hotel manager said he would talk to him and everything would be okay. A couple days later, we get another phone call, get the machines out. By this time, our vendor's back. So we have a meeting and we all go in and talk. And at the meeting, Rick is a much better guy about this than I am. I'm not that patient, to be honest with you. But Rick worked it out. And he actually got the manager of the hotel and the hotel engineer to shake hands, and both of them realized that no matter who signed the contract, that the hotel management company was going to be held liable, which means we are going to bring action against them, and we were going to bring action, which we told them to their face. We will also sue you, the building engineer, the hotel engineer, and we will also sue the manager that signed the contract. Now, what happens in these instances, and every once in a while this happens in schools. I've never had it happen in a hotel. But every once in a while, a principal decides they want to break a contract with you. I can't, and I, if there's a school principal out there listening to this video, no offense, guys, but you guys sort of live in a glass bubble. You're in charge at the school, and all of a sudden you think that rules don't apply to you sometimes. And we've had this happen dozens of times, only in schools, though. And once the principal, or in this case the hotel manager and the property engineer, found out that not only were we going to sue the management company, that we were going to sue both of them personally. Now, here's what that means if we sue them. Once that action, that civil action, is taken against them, they are not allowed to liquidate any of their funds. They're not allowed to liquidate their property, anything at that point, until the lawsuit's over, because you bring the suit for X amount of dollars. In this case, we told them, if you read the contract, our contract, it says that if you break the contract, that however many months is left on the contract, and in this case, it was 46 months. However many months left on the contract, what you do is you take the gross sales number for the month. In this case, about $6,000, not quite, about $5,400, $5,500, somewhere in that range. And you multiply it times 46 months. And when they sign the contract, if that clause is in there, it's a precondition that if you break the contract, here's how we will come against you. That's right there in our contract. So once they realized that not only was the management company going to be sued for all that money, a couple $100,000, they were going to also be named in the suit. All of a sudden, they become best friends. And our vendor, I don't think, will have any more problems. And the vendor also was really nice. He thanked the the property engineer, and he thanked the manager. He made sure both of them had his phone number, and also he went an extra mile. He gave him his home phone number just in case anything happened. The engineer at the hotel even offered to fill the machines for him if he went back on vacation. So instead of going over there yelling and screaming and threatening to sue people, we went about it step by step by step to find out what the real problem was. And the real problem is the building engineer thought that he was no longer in charge of something he seemed to take very seriously, and that was the vending. The new property hotel manager had really diminished whatever role the engineer thought he should play. So, moral to the story is, you can't count on the principal at the high school or the general manager at the hotel solving these problems sometimes. Sometimes you have to solve them both. Now, when they wouldn't get along, we didn't tell them we would sue them. What we said was the next step normally is this. We have to come against the management company. We have to come against both of you, the guy that signed the contract, and the guy that is impeding our third-party vendor's company from doing business. That would be the property engineer. And we did all that without getting a lawyer involved. The moral to the story is, don't panic. Don't get mad. Don't let this become emotional. This is about business. You have a very, very, very well-written, solid contract. Get to know your contract. Watch the training films in the Learning Center on contracts. Read your contract. Then take it one step at a time. If you need to get a lawyer involved, that's completely different. Usually that doesn't happen. That's only happened to us maybe once every 10 years for the last 30 years. Maybe 2 times every 10 years for the last 30 years. That we actually had to go to our attorney and bring suit. 2 times it was against different school systems. Because again, the principal thought they could break the contract. But once both school systems, Prince George's County, Maryland, and Montgomery County, Maryland, once they both realized, the attorneys that head up the school systems realized that our contract was well written and couldn't be broken. And those 9 little magic words meant it was going to double. They stopped. They stopped all action. They knew that they couldn't win. Now, I'll give you one other quick story. We had a principal in Prince George's County take over. He brought his vendor with him, and he wanted to throw our vendor out. We still had a solid contract. Rick simply said, "Do you have the number for Mr. So-and-so?" He says, "Sure, that's the attorney for Prince George's County School Board." He says, "Call him on the phone. Tell him who you're dealing with and what the company's name is, and ask his opinion while I'm standing here." He says, "I'm not going to do that while you're standing here. Just get your machines out of my school." So Rick says, "You should call him because you're going to need him because we're not taking the machines out." Before Rick could get back to the office, the principal called him and apologized. He said he had talked to the attorney. The attorney told him that this was a no-win situation for him. And then the attorney said, "And when they said that they would sue you personally, they will sue you personally. Believe me, we've been to court with these people. Not only that, They give really good service and they pay on time. So maybe you should rethink bringing a different vending company in. When the contract's up, if you're still the principal at that school, then if I was you, I would get rid of them. But until then, you don't want to do that because they will sue us and they will sue you, and we can't win, so we're not going to court with them. This is going to fall on your shoulders. You got to be level-headed when you take this chore on, if it occurs with you. Just one step at a time. Keep in mind, a well-written, airtight contract should be defended. You shouldn't let people bully you. But the first thing is you got to find out, is there an internal problem that really has nothing to do with your vendor? Just like the high school principal wanted to bring his vendors in when he got the job. And just like the engineer and the hotel manager, the new manager weren't getting along. Both problems were internal problems. Had nothing to do with vendor services. That's just wanted to bring you up to date in case any of you guys run up against this. Of course, all you got to do is go ahead and email me if it happens, and I'll walk you through it step by step, and I'll help you and tell you exactly what to say and exactly how to handle it. All right, guys, happy scalping.